I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
And thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. No, I appreciate the opportunity.
Last time we spoke, I think it was like either by phone or email. It was either one of those, and it was for Redcon 1.
Yeah, right. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, there's been a huge gap, Chi. What have you been
Yes.
up to?
Well, yeah, it's been kind of it's been a journey. We've kind of been prepping. I think since Redcon, I've directed three films now as well. So kind of catching up, making up for time.
Um, what's the score with Redcon? Is there going to be like a second one eventually, or like I don't know? I felt like the story could still be continued.
Yeah, no, thank you for saying that actually. Yeah, it's something we I get asked a few times. I always kind of say if there's an appetite and there's an interest, then I'm always game. I'm always kind of game. I think it was really great. I think just seeing the community and everyone kind of get together for that film. It was a really ambitious action film which we shot. I think it was 12 different cities, 1,500 extras and tanks and helicopters. So it was, yeah, had a lot of fun on that one.
Yeah, you got military, martial arts, and zombies all in the one movie.
Yeah, yes, yeah, yeah, and I think that's kind of what we try to kind of do. I think I like to kind of try and kind of create spectacle and try and give kind of audiences kind of bang for their buck, just trying to kind of create kind of experiences. I think kind of like I think with action films, there's so much room for kind of creativity and so much kind of fun, and I think kind of sometimes it's of course they kind of important stories to tell as well, but just sometimes I just kind of like to kind of give audiences a little bit something a little bit different and give them a bit of a spectacle.
So what drew you to Sons of the Soil? Because you didn't write this one, but you directed it. So what got you on board with directing duties?
So it was something that I'd originally actually kind of conceived with the writer with Raz and the lead actor, and I just come off so I was doing I which were releasing later this year, a POV action film called Bad Day at the Office, which kind of shot kind of all on GoPros with John Hannah and Lauder Mitchell, and before that, I'd worked with Raz on the film called Experiment, which hopefully we'll have out next year, and that was with Famke Janssen and Rona Mitra, and he was part of that cast, and just really enjoyed working with Raz, and he's a British Nigerian, but he was living in the US, and we were kind of just talking about different projects we want to kind of find something to work together on, and I'd been hearing a lot about Nigeria and Nollywood, and just about kind of the industry and the films over there. So I was really just intrigued about going over there and trying to make something. So that was the idea where it was something that I'd originally kind of conceived and then developed with Raz, and was like, hey, I don't really know much about kind of Nigeria, Africa. What if we make this thing? You take the lead in it. I'll direct it, and we'll go shoot the film, and that's kind of how it evolved. So for me, it was about having a little adventure, and I think kind of just kind of again kind of I think one of the things which is kind of was amazing about action films is they travel. They have the ability to kind of travel international, travel globally, and so what I wanted to do was see if I'd be able to go to Nigeria and make a film and see if A, I could get through the experience, and B, make something that people could watch and enjoy.
And what was it like shooting in Nigeria? I take it was hot for a start.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. It's the weather is definitely the weather is something you're kind of really dealing with. It's intense. It's certainly kind of really, really intense. The crews are great. I think like that's one thing I should kind of really say. I thought the crews were some of the best crews I've ever worked with. I thought they were kind of really, it was really, really they have just such a big passion for cinema and making and filmmaking, and they really kind of rally together. I was kind of an outsider, so kind of coming into kind of an industry and being really receiving that level of support was great. But yeah, it was kind of challenges. I mean, we had to kind of work with um you're kind of dealing a lot with like the local chiefs as well, and the area boys, kind of local gangs. So you're having to kind of clear filming and permission but it was we filmed a lot on location, so everything was kind of we didn't use any studios, we didn't use any everything was kind of live. We really wanted to kind of capture that. So um really about I think kind of capturing the kind of almost the, there were things like kind of like City of God was a kind of reference for when we were shooting, and I think this almost took like slightly almost like a documentary approach, I think, to like capturing kind of these kind of really strong, powerful images. So but yeah, it was a blast. I think it was like we were, as people see the film, like vehicles, chase sequences, boat sequences, filming on trains, and all sorts of locations. So we tried to again try to kind of push the envelope on this one.
And then what I liked as well was, um, well, number one for this one, I actually skipped the trailer. And then I like going into movies now. It must be as I'm getting older, and the way trailers are cut these days, they just show you the whole movie.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid trailers where possible. And like I was really surprised because I'd seen the cover, like the poster art, and then I was like, oh, it's gonna be like sort of John Wick in Nigeria. But like what I liked was the lead character was actually very, very much human. Like he gets beat, he gets stabbed, he gets shot, and he feels everything. Was that
Yeah.
a component that sort of attracted you to the script as well, as it wasn't your like everyday hero?
Yeah, I think I kind of so I think part of this kind of element of this film being a kind of like I mean the film is kind of this character or kind of like the son kind of returning back to the land, and I think like reconnecting, and I think there was just something I wanted to kind of make a little bit kind of human and grounded. I think as you said there is it doesn't always go his way, and when you think it goes one way, it goes another, and he does. Yeah, he definitely takes a beating through this film, and I think that was kind of part of this story of. I think it's kind of like what's kind of often I kind of get drawn to is, and it's similar kind of with Redcon, is you kind of have like characters who tend to be at a kind of a crossroads within kind of their journey, and there's this sense of almost like blind faith. It's kind of like this kind of pursuit of justice and no matter what. And I think that was it was something we explored with Redcon and Orwis's character who played kind of the captain, and this kind of drive where when all hell breaks goes, everything goes to hell. It's like there's always kind of a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and it's about kind of pushing through that. So I think with this, I think it was kind of similar where we wanted to kind of have this sense of journey of the character of Zion, going and trying to uncover and along the way how he tries to kind of create the sense of change. I think that was kind of this element of it's not just about at one point it becomes a little bit bigger than him and this kind of journey and how he kind of brings people together. So that's something which I think certainly kind of drew me in. Um, because I think there was the kind of vulnerability kind of can just sometimes kind of maybe kind of help you kind of draw to that character a little bit more, or rather than just kind of go in and think he's
Yeah,
just going to win every single battle.
because you never know how it's going to end up. You
Yeah,
like he could get stabbed, shot, he could get beat up, and
yeah.
it all happens in this movie.
Yeah. And I think also just to add to that as well, I think it was like we wanted to kind of create this kind of quite tense atmosphere as well. It's like everyone's like it's like you're watching things through his eyes as well, sort of thing. So you're also kind of experiencing, and I think there is this kind of this element of it, and without giving too much away, it's I mean he goes on a bit of a rampage, but he also sacrifices a lot as well. And I
And
think that's so it's not all rosy in that respect. But I think yeah, that was about that kind of sense of like keeping audiences on their toes, hopefully, where you just don't quite know what's going to happen next.
And then you had mentioned that you sort of see it from his point of view. There are a couple of moments in the film whenever you see him running or he's like, in a chase scene and the camera does just pan as if Raz is actually wearing like a GoPro on his head.
Yeah.
Was that the case which he's done?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. And I mean partly yes. So again, just putting people into that experience. And is it just because so the film that I did, as I mentioned just before, Bad Day at the Office, which we're going to be releasing later this year, but that was shot all entirely on POV shot on GoPros, and so there was this idea when we were coming to Nigeria was like, yeah, we should kind of try and carry that tradition off across and do a little bit of that, but yeah, I think again that was kind of a GoPro helmet with a kind of camera rig, so that was a different setup. But yeah, it was, and I like those kind of. I like sometimes kind of pushing and making the most of you know different experiences. Like how would you kind of just transplant kind of audiences into that world a little bit more?
Um, and being like the director of this movie, obviously, and you shot it on location, which makes everything logistically harder.
Yeah.
What was the hardest part of shooting this movie? Because usually when you ask directors this, it's not the action sequences, it's just
Yeah.
general like logistics of working around humans.
Yeah, yeah. I think time. I mean, for me, I think it's always just about like pushing the envelope as much as possible. And so I think we're kind of like constantly moving locations. We're kind of every day it's a different location. We're filming kind of in live locations. You're dealing with the heat, dealing with the weather. Um, things fall through. You have to kind of change and adapt. Again, it was probably the scale of things. I think it's like maintain that scale, and I think trying to like keep elevating. I think it's kind of that. Like, how do you kind of try and keep the audiences engaged? I think so. You're always kind of coming up with like new things or taking something that people are familiar with. So you've got the vehicle chase, the Mauer kind of KK chase, where you've kind of got like taking kind of like a classic kind of car chase and going, how would you just kind of flip it on the head on its head? So I think it was more probably just trying to cram so much in a short space of time. We shot it in 18 days.
Really?
Yeah, and it was definitely a kind of ride, but again, it was a great crew, so I couldn't really wouldn't be able to have kind of got through that without such a kind of great team, and also my DOP Jack, who he was kind of really integral to. It was the first time we worked together, and he was kind of really keen to again kind of capturing. But we shot two cameras on this as well.
And then you had briefly touched upon it there when you were mentioning your other projects, the experiment.
Yeah.
So that, if I'm correct, that sees you sort of return back to the like action horror genre, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes, yeah. Yeah, and it's something which it was interesting, after doing kind of Redcon, it was kind of such a big scale and on location. We shot this over at Rebellion Studios over in Didcot, and yeah, it was that was kind of it was like almost kind of in a slightly more kind of contained location, and it was kind of really interesting. And I think, yeah, I think this kind of idea, similar this element of kind of like soldiers kind of on a mission again was kind of something that was quite kind of appealing. And here, yeah, there's a few little twists onto it as well. So yeah, so it was fun. It was really fun. I think we kind of we got to work with Derek Rogers, who's an amazing cinematographer. He shot Cube and Resident Evil, one of the Resident Evil films, and so yeah, that was kind of really fun. And yeah, I think again, just I I like to kind of mix things up, and I think kind of like looking at like again experiences for audiences. I think that's kind of why I try to kind of try to achieve as much as possible. How to kind of push the boundaries, cross things, and yeah, just create as much kind of mayhem and chaos and carnage as possible.
So the typical stuff we expect from you then, really.
Yeah, well, there's definitely building something. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't see you doing a Disney movie or a rom-com anytime soon.
yeah, yeah. People have asked. I was asked in Nigeria. They did ask me if I'd make a rom-com, but
Well, hopefully this movie does extremely well for you. It's a brilliant movie, it's typical stuff from yourself. We get the high octane action, we get Raz back on our screens, and it's been a long time since we've had a movie from you. I think it's 2018,
yeah,
17,
yeah,
yeah, somewhere around there. So it's
yeah,
good to see you back, because I've always sort of wondered where you've drifted off to, but it's wicked to have you back on making movies. So don't take such a long hiatus and
yeah.
keep the action going, okay, Chi?
Thank you much. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Matt.
No,
Appreciate all your support.
thank you so much for your time today and best of luck with the release.
Thank you much. Thank you.